With an update on debt ceiling.
Democratic leader before I was even Speaker about ways that we could work together on a debt ceiling. Hakeem told me he was going to follow the president's lead. I went down to meet with the president right after becoming Speaker, as you all know, on February 1st. I said, let's sit down. Let's work together. The Democrats, they could have lifted the debt ceiling prior to me becoming Speaker. They knew the outcome of the election already. They knew we were taking power. They passed an omnibus bill, but they decided not to do the rising of the debt ceiling, even though they thought people should just raise it cleanly. Speaking with the president, I told him two things. We'll not raise taxes. Why? Because we got more revenue coming in to our coffers at any time in American history. The problem is the Democrats had been in power, and they increased the amount of spending to the highest level we've ever had at any time in American history, especially to GDP. And now we have the highest debt at any time to American history. So I just think it's common sense, it's reasonable, and it's rational that we spend less next year than we spend this year. Every household would do this. We have money that sits out there, COVID, that's been appropriate that hasn't been used. We now know the damage that the Democrats have done in the majority when they spent that extra $6 trillion. It brought us inflation, harming every single family, made us more dependent upon China. It created 3 of the largest 4 bank failures in American history in the last couple months. We cannot continue down this path. But the president waited 97 days, not even to talk to me. He could have spoken to me and said we were wrong on other angles, but he didn't. And now we're 8 days away from Biden having to default. I don't want that to happen. That's why the Republicans in the House in April lifted the debt ceiling with common sense, sensible things, that pulling the COVID money back, work requirements, they let people go back to work, help our supply chain, make us less dependent on China, and more importantly, people working, then they're paying into Social Security and Medicare, making those 2 entities stronger. And then making us stronger in our energy field where we're cutting the red tape, where we could build things in America again, putting people back to work. That's reasonable, that's rational. But it sits in the Senate. But if the president waits too long, he can always take that up.
You said
Yes.
finish the negotiations. Has there been appreciable progress the last?
Look, there's differences. We know where it's at. You have to spend less than you spent last year. That's not that difficult to do. But in Washington, somehow, that is a problem. They have increased spending with the Democrats in the majority on discretionary spending by more than 33%. No household's been able to afford to do that. We can find waste. We can eliminate that. The president eliminated a lot of places that we can't talk about, so I got a short area to do it, but we found a reasonable way to do it. So it's not that – look, I think we can make progress today. I'm hoping that we can make progress.
Mr. Speaker, what do you say to those who believe you can't get to yes because so many members of your conference won't accept anything less than the bill you've already passed?
They're wrong. You know, you underestimated me the whole time. The one thing you should learn from me, I will never give up for the American people. Those are the people I'm looking at. Can we get to yes? Yes. We passed a bill.
With no Democrats. You need a bipartisan bill now. Can you get to yes on a deal that will take Democrats?
Thank you, because you just identified the problem. No Democrats. So every Democrat voted against raising the debt ceiling. Nothing has happened in the Senate. I'm not a senator. I don't control the Senate. Why didn't they pass something? The president, he didn't talk to us for 97 days. So don't blame me for reaching out to the Democrats, for begging the president to meet with me or trying to find it. And don't blame us, Republicans, when we put a reasonable bill together that we actually took Democrats' ideas. So when we put spending for government and increase it 1% each year to cap it, so the slow growth of government, so the economy can catch up, that was a Democrat idea. When we put work requirements in to help people get a job, that's something Senator Biden voted for and President Clinton signed into law. That was a Democrat-supported idea, too. So it's not my fault that the Democrats today have become so extreme, so far to the socialist wing, that they are now opposed to work requirements, that they are now opposed to saving $1 less than you spent the year before. That, to me, really seems that the problem are the Democrats.